thank you so much, Polly, for joining us here today on the Lunch and Learns to share with us what Synder, the e-commerce, the solution for assisting us in reconciling our accounts and books, can do for us. So really looking forward to this presentation.
Yeah, let me share a screen right away. And yeah, there we go. Just one more intro. So yeah, it's Polly here, and yeah, I'll be really glad to guide you through this solution and actually explain how it might be helpful. So yeah, like the overall topic, and the way we think of Synder is like this is a solution that helps automate the bookkeeping for e-commerces, and not only for e-commerces, but like for SaaS businesses as well. So like the major purpose of Synder is to actually connect the platforms, like the e-commerce platforms, the places where you sell things, like the just payment processors, with your bookkeeping to make sure they talk to each other and basically they share all the needed information so that you don't need to actually go ahead and manually do this kind of data entry thing. Yeah, so this is like overall picture of what the app does. And yeah, I guess we can maybe jump on with some like more specific stuff upon what it really can do, if that's fine, Heather. Yeah, great. So right, so like some words regarding the problems Synder can solve. So first of all, and like first and foremost, is the reconciliation thing. So we call it like a one-click reconciliation, because basically the purpose of Synder is not just to, you know, make the systems talk to each other, but also to make sure the data that Synder is pushing to the accounting, to the Xero, they're really reconciliation ready. So the only thing that the end user needs to do is just clicking like OK in the bank feeds, and that's it. So that's why we call it like one-click reconciliation, and it's really what we're striving to make it just like a really hassle-free thing. So just you're sure that your books are like totally like will be perfectly reconciled. Yeah, so this is like the first thing Synder can help you with. As well, Synder is like basically allows for very detailed data entry. So it works like on the basis of the like product lines, which allows for like automatic profit and loss categorization, which is like it can be very detailed as the business needs it to be. And of course, Synder would also record like proper gross and net recording as well, the like payment processing fees, so that the bookkeeping is like really complete and correct. As well, as I mentioned, Synder, yeah, it works on the product basis, so it allows for inventory tracking as well, which is like can be a very useful thing for e-commerce businesses. And yeah, so inventory tracking will be like moving on, so Xero like quantities of the products will be updated properly, like with each like sale transaction. It will like kind of go down the quantity, and with each like refund transaction, it will go up. So kind of books will be updated properly. And for sure, like the tax reporting as well. So if the taxes exist on the payment processing side, Synder will be able to also report them to Xero properly, make sure like the books are ready as well for tax reporting. And Synder supports multi-currency. So if you're having a business like operating all over the globe and you're kind of receiving the payments in multiple currencies, that's what we do actually as well. So we know exactly how sometimes like challenging this can be. So yeah, Synder will help you with this definitely, like transferring all the transactions with all the conversion rates from different currencies. So every piece of information will land into Xero. Yeah, so this kind of the overall look into this. And yeah, moving forward, I guess we can cover a bit on what it works well for. Basically, from the point of view of the user, from the user perspective, it works for business owners as well as for accountants and bookkeepers, like for accounting professionals, because it's kind of really easy to set up. So if you're a business owner and you're not really sure what you're doing, and kind of you want to just like get started and see how it works. So Synder is like a good solution to go with go this way. So the setup is really easy. You're able to start and see if it works for you, if it does exactly what's needed. But if, let's say, you're an accounting professional who really wants to kind of find a tool which would be suitable for like many clients, and each client for sure has their own like business bookkeeping needs. So Synder is flexible enough to actually give you like advanced settings where you can actually go in and tailor all the stuff and make sure Synder does the bookkeeping in a way that suits the business you actually want to tailor it for. So like from the user perspective, it works well for both categories, I would say. And from the point of view of like the sphere of the business, for sure it works perfectly for e-commerce businesses, but as well it can be used for SaaS businesses. So let's say if you have only like Stripe or PayPal and you don't have like any kind of e-commerce like Shopify or eBay, it's also totally fine. You can just connect the platforms you have and go ahead. So Synder will also do the job for you. As well, if you have like POS systems like for Square or for Shopify, Synder can also manage that. So if you're like a maybe food business, so where you have the POS as well, Synder will be able to assist with this. As for the like not ideal for point, I mean, Synder is very flexible. So if, let's say, the business is really small, like maybe 10 or like 20 or 30 transactions volume per month, well, if sometimes it's just not worth, any investment, it's just quicker to do the bookkeeping on your own. Like it takes like 10 minutes and that's it. So maybe then there's no real point to go ahead and look for an automation for this. But for sure, if you feel like your business is growing rapidly, for sure, there is a point to look for an automation. I mean, in 21st century, it's always a point. So, right, in this case, Synder will be a good solution, like for voluminous businesses, like with hundreds plus transactions. It will be like a really good time saver. So for sure, I mean, then it's worth like investing some time and money into this to actually automate everything, set it up once, and then forget about it, and it's just doing a job on the background. Right, so as for the list of integrations, like one of the most interesting parts, I guess. So yeah, this list is quite wide. I mean, we already work like with Shopify, Stripe, Amazon, Square, eBay, like PIN payments, PayPal, the GoCardless, WooCommerce, Acquid, and some more actually integrations. Like the full list is available on our website if that's the point. But actually, if you're not able to see the platform you want to integrate, then that's fine as well, because recently we've implemented import Excel feature. So even if, let's say, you're doing this for a client of yours and you've automated all of their systems with Synder, and there is just one system that is not kind of fitting the profile, so Synder is not covering this yet, there is like an easy solution here. You're just exporting the transactions from this platform. We're able to import them through Excel into Synder and then operate with them as with like any other regular transactions. So which is why basically Synder would be compatible with any system, because you can do all of this through Excel imports. So if we move on and look at like a regular app stack and how it looks, so I would say the majority of our clients using something like this. So it's like they're like e-commerce business with Shopify, and mostly, I mean, in most cases, it's not only Shopify. So several more like payment processors are integrated into Shopify to actually give the customers more freedom in terms of like payment methods, which gives also a complexity to the business in terms of like make all of the systems talk to each other and like be synchronized with the accounting with Xero. So this is kind of how our like regular stack would look. So we Stripe, PayPal, and Shopify, and through Synder, they're integrated to Xero. But for sure, if you're using like Amazon, Stripe, and PayPal and Square, this also like for sure works totally fine. So yeah, this is just the most I would say frequent thing. And as for the level of details that are recorded into Xero, so Synder works on like per transaction basis, and it is as detailed as possible. So this is one of our goals, to make sure we're able to feed Xero with all possible details if that's needed. So you can like switch it off, but if that's needed, so basically you can make sure Synder grabs all the details. And I'm not just saying about like fees and total of the transaction and like refunds and chargebacks. So I'm saying actually about like customer names and email and like shipping details, as well as like product names, SKU, if any, like for sure quantity, and as well details like discounts and tax and tips and maybe gift cards. So all of this will be reported properly to Xero as well as processing, the processing fees for sure. So this is in terms of the level of details. And if we look at the process of the connection to Xero and like just basically the way Synder works with Xero, it's, the flow is quite simple. So the first step is for sure the connection of Xero, which doesn't require any coding skills or something. So you just need the credentials from Xero to actually go into Synder, enter the credentials, brand the connection, and you're done. So like 2 clicks, like really 2 clicks. And then you're to connect all the payment processors and e-commerce platforms you're using as well. No coding skills, just the credentials, and you're good to go. Then you're to set this up, like make sure that that everything will go to the exact places in Xero where you want things to actually land. So you're kind of doing this double checking and making sure that, make sure that everything works fine. And after this, once you're sure, you just enable this auto sync mode Synder provides you with, and then you kind of go and drink your tea and go to the wonderful webinars of Heather's, and having lunch here, like learning different kind of interesting stuff, because your books are totally fine. You just forget about them. So this is like the ideal use case, I would say, when people just tailor you once and then forget about it, because it works perfectly on the background and notifies you in case something goes wrong. So you're not like stick to the screen. You're just sometimes checking your email, making sure that, well, I'm good. And some useful tips that I would mention, and some like useful features of Synder. The first one, and from the point of view of like customer support, I would say this is definitely one of lifesavers, is undo functionality, because like sometimes the apps, they don't provide this kind of thing, like undo in bulk whatever has been done to the books. And if you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, for sure this wonderful feeling when you need to go through all the transactions in the books, cleaning the mess that was created by any kind of interactions with Xero. So Synder provides you with this like one-click undo feature, so that you're able to clear your books and start fresh if that's needed. So in case some like setup was not correct and you found out about it, and it was too late. So it's never too late, actually. Right. So then like another useful tip is like the way Synder reflects the actual money flow. So it really tries to repeat the money flow from the real world, like the money are going from the client to the payment processor and then to the checking. And like this, like a 2-step movement is what Synder also is trying to do, like creating this clearing account. So firstly, money are deposited there, and once the actual like gross payout is made, I feel like the sun is really not making a lot of not making a beautiful picture here, but so hope it's better now. Right, so Synder like replicates this 2-step process, like from the clearing account, from the client to the clearing account, and from the clearing account to the checking account. So this kind of 2-step process is also reflected in your books. So you're able to kind of track, like in live mode, I would say, the place your money are at the moment, are stored at the moment. So if you go to your clearing account, you see some kind of balance there, that you're like Stripe or Shopify or whatever payment processor you connect. So it stores the money. As Synder kind of does the synchronization on hourly basis, so you're up to date and you know exactly where your money are at the moment. Another thing is like auto reconciliation of the clearing account. So kind of Synder is grabbing data from the payment processor. So whatever is synchronized is taken from the payment processor. So Synder is able to kind of mark them as reconciled, because like there is no other source Synder could like grab the transactions from. So they're kind of good to go and be reconciled. And the only thing the user would need to do is to reconcile the checking account like in a bank feed, which is really like the usual process. Another good thing is like importing historical data. So in case you kind of I don't know, like in December, you think like, okay, so now it's time to do the bookkeeping for the whole year backwards. And so yeah, Synder here will be able to help you as well, because you can just go in, select the time range you wanna of the data you wanna import, and just in one click bring all the data to Synder, make sure the setup is correct, and bring them to Xero. And so that's I mean, as easy as that. Another good thing, like the thing I'm personally proud of, that yeah, we have a really dedicated support team, which is also available like 24/5 in the in-app chat and 24/7 like via the email. So you can like talk to support guys and make sure you understand exactly what you're doing, and if you're doing this in a right way, well, because these are your books for sure. So yeah, well, our team is like really eager to help with any questions that might appear along the way. And yeah, so Synder has also a totally free trial, which is also a good thing. So you can just log in like and without any like credit card information or something. So you can just log in, create an account, connect all the systems, see if it works well for you. If it's not, you can just like undo in one click and like just disconnect everything. So okay, that's not for me. But on the other hand, you might like check it out and see, okay, that's perfect solution I was waiting for all my life. And go ahead, yeah, was this in Synder app. So this is it as for like me just talking, not showing anything. So I guess we can go to the demonstration part. It won't be that live yet, so I will show you kind of the pictures, explain what's there, and at the end we will also talk about the way you can explore about Synder in live mode as well. So first of all, like inside of Synder, like it's a separate interface, so you'll be able to kind of see the whole kind of transactions feed and kind of manage transactions in bulk. So like synchronize them in bulk, undo them in bulk. So all the bulk actions are available here. Another good thing is that you have these kind of statuses. So on purpose, I've kind of gathered all the different ones. So Synder tries to keep you informed. So in case something is wrong, it will notify you about this. And if some transaction was failed, it will also like give you the exact details of why was this, how to fix this. So kind of you're staying on top of this. But if everything is fine, you also will be able to see just like all the green statuses. So you're fine, you're good, and you just kind of don't pay any attention to this. So you have like all this like details that might be helpful as well inside of Synder. Also, like a very good feature is like management of multiple clients. So this is the way you can see like highlighted the way you can like switch between the clients. So you're making sure you know exactly like what platforms are connected to what Xero account, and you're kind of able to switch between clients and manage them all from one interface. So not kind of logging in and out or something. So you just like select the needed client and you see the whole kind of transactions history and details for this or that client. Also, yeah, as I mentioned, like Synder is quite a flexible tool, and we're also working every day to make it even more flexible, because we're hearing a lot of feedback from our clients that they need this or that, and they have custom flows, and they really need to kind of have it this way and not that way. Sure, I mean, we're trying to incorporate all this feedback and create something that would really solve it all for pretty much any kind of business. And what we have for now, at least, like it's like also like quite a wide range of settings, a lot of on-off triggers and like kind of mappings you can use if that's needed for you. I mean, usually it just works properly with the default setup, but if you feel like you want like to make it in a more detailed way, so you want your profit and loss to be like super detailed, for sure you can also go in and I mean use this power of details as well. And yeah, so it also like for sure feeds your Xero with data, allowing Xero to provide you with like balance sheet report and profit and loss report, which can be like quite detailed. Right, so this is it in terms of the kind of results you're getting in Xero. So different kinds of reports, this one-click reconciliation. And yeah, so this is it from me. I hope I wasn't taking too much of your time, but yeah, hopefully now if there are any questions, I'm here to give you some more details if that's needed.
Thank you so much, Polly, for sharing all that information about Synder with us. And I do encourage you, if you do have some questions, feel free to turn on your video and ask your questions, or put your hand up. Look, we've got someone who's got their hand up. Who is that? Jose, jump on, say hello. And hey, Jose, how you going?
Hi, how are you? Good evening, good afternoon over there. Thank you, Polly. Very interesting. And I was not aware of Synder. And currently, we are deploying for one client A2X. And my question is, if you have it compared to A2X, how you are in terms of capabilities, benefits?
Good question. Yeah, so A2X also, like, they're great guys. Yeah, but for sure, like, approaches here are a bit different. I mean, from what they do and what Synder does. So they have this kind of journal entry way of entering things. I mean, like in a daily summaries way, I would say, right? So when you have this kind of your Xero updated was like daily, so daily totals, and you can kind of customize this and make sure your Xero is updated this way. And Synder uses like the opposite approach. It does like a per transaction entry. So you know exactly like who bought something and what exactly has been purchased. So in case the inventory tracking is set up in Xero, and like you use Xero not only as like just a bookkeeping stuff, but also kind of some more advanced management tool, this Synder, like in this case, Synder will be of use in terms of like fitting it with more detailed data, so you know exactly like who are the customers who are like purchasing like the most from you, and you can like see like what regions are the most, where your customers really are located majorly, as well as like inventory tracking is also possible if you're using like this per transaction way of entering stuff. For sure, like it's up to the business. What way would be more beneficial here? But in case of using Synder, for sure, like books can be more detailed. So I would say this is kind of the major difference between the ways those apps are working.
Okay, then you are very granular information is at the transactional level. And how it works with around, let's say that we have more than 1,000 transactions per month that are typically e-commerce. Is no problem in terms of performance, in terms of data?
Totally fine. Okay. I would say, sometimes Xero has, from Synder side, we have clients who have like, thousands and hundreds of transactions a month. And there's no kind of issues from the point of view of Synder. And actually previously, I would say, there were issues in the accounting software, like with QuickBooks and Xero, when they were just like lagging, when there are a lot of data inside of them. But I would say QuickBooks have like tackled this, years ago. So there are no issues with that. And Xero as well, working just fine. We have clients with like e-commerces who use like several thousand transactions a month, and also like their Xero doing just fine, at least based on what we hear from them. So yeah, don't see a problem here in case Xero is your solution, the way it works for you. So yeah, it should be totally fine.
Can I do another question, a quick one? Well, it's regarding how many marketplaces or platforms could be connected for one single company. It's possible to have more than one Shopify and one Amazon in the same company code?
Sure. No, no any issue at all here. So for sure, like you can connect 5, Shopify's, 3 Amazons, and several eBays, and each of these e-commerces might have like their own Stripe and PayPal and Square, or like Shopify payments, or like Amazon Pay. So whatever is like powering the payment processing part of the sale. So yeah, no problems here at all.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Polly.
Thank
yeah,
you so
sure,
much.
lots of questions.
Thank you so much, Jose, for your questions. I had no idea that people would have multiple Shopify accounts. There you go. I learned something as well through that. So I do have a question here, and you're welcome to pop the questions in the chat area, but you're welcome to jump on and join us just like Jose did. So this question is, will Synder work if you create invoices through Xero and accept payments in Stripe?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah, there is like a separate setting for this. So Synder is able to kind of see, are there any invoices, open invoices for this or that particular client? And if there is, it's able to match like based on the amount. And if not, like just historically, it will be able to close the invoices. So yeah, it's totally working. Totally, it was one of the features that a lot of people requested. So we were just, we had no choice, just we were to make it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Polly. I have another question here. Stripe and PayPal are obviously payment gateways. If we need the payments in Excel format, can the Excel file be set up in a QIF file, a QIF file?
At least for now, not really. So for now, you can upload like Excel or CSV files into Synder and then kind of synchronize them. You'll have this transaction suite, so you'll be able to synchronize them in bulk to Xero. But for now, yeah, only Excel and CSV files.
That was a really good question, though, Melinda. I think it is that MYOB does a lot of export into QIF files, but I guess QuickBooks Desktop may also be downloading into QIF files. I'm not sure about that, but I know that MYOB used to do that. But
there is a way to actually, I guess, convert this QIF file to Excel file, I guess. So there is a way definitely to do this.
Yes, I think so. I think it's possibly, Melinda was probably seeing if there was a way to miss that step out and just see if you could do that bit
Not
for
yet.
her. Not yet, but thank you for that. So we've had another question. Can you reconcile multiple Neato shops and payments? So Neato e-commerce is a solution out of here, Australia. So I've not seen you talk about Neato before, so maybe not.
Yeah, not at the moment. We're constantly working kind of to add more e-commerce platforms as well as like payment platforms. So like from like a really Australian thing, we have like PIN payments. So they're also like a great team. And so yeah, they're a payment processor and like we're integrated with them as well as like GoCardless. But yeah, no, at least
Neato is probably like an Australian Shopify.
Shopify.
Neato is like an Australian Shopify. So yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, Joe. And then we've had the question, will there be an option to link or synchronize to MYOB? There's a number of MYOB solutions out there, but are you looking to link or sync with any of them?
At least for now, we're not able to. We're at the moment we support Xero, QuickBooks Online, and QuickBooks Desktop, so 3 accounting platforms. But yeah, again, we're kind of constantly gathering feedback just to see the needs of of our clients. So yeah,
absolutely.
Maybe this will be available in the future. Yeah, but not yet.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Polly. Now, if anyone else has any questions, please pop them into the chat area, or you're welcome to jump online and talk to us. I was interested when you were talking about the product lines, and I know that this is something that people have been raving about Synder, is the amount of detail you actually have in the inventory in the product area. Why would I need Shopify if Synder is doing that for me? Am I missing something there? You seem to be doing a lot of the detail in terms of the inventory.
Right. But let's imagine this kind of situation. Shopify definitely, does a great job in this regard. And in case you're like the business uses only Shopify, then why just simply not track the details inside of Shopify? All the inventory stuff. But in case the business is growing and they started to sell in the on Amazon as well as on Shopify, then it gets trickier, right? Because you need some solution which will, handle all this. So, and in this case, Synder will be like a great tool that will make sure all the details from all the platforms, like they land in one place. So in the bookkeeping, which like Xero, which can be used in for the inventory management here.
Okay, thank you for that, Polly. And you, someone asked about, can you process 1,000 transactions in a month? Which you said, yes, we can. Do you have any transactional limits or any sort of high levels that we should be aware of?
From Synder side, no, and there are no limits like this from QuickBooks side. But for Xero, there are zero like API limitations. So yeah. So if there are kind of quite a lot of like thousands of transactions like a day, there might be like a daily limit. But like Synder handled this in a way that we're kind of pausing the transactions until the kind of next day limit is available, and we're kind of like pushing them next day. So it can be like this 1 day lag, and we're like also working with Xero to find some way to kind of extend this. But yeah, for now, if there's a question, there should be an answer to, an honest answer to the question. And for sure, for voluminous business with Xero, sometimes this is like, just the matter of this kind of time lag.
And you'd also offer the summary function, the summary functionality that you can summarize for a day rather than push everything through. Is that correct?
It's not this way. We're constantly like in a search to actually see see whether there are a lot of like reasons to do this on a daily basis, as opposed to like per transactional limit. And we have kind of the mechanism so you can kind of replace all the customer with one generic customer, as well as like all the products with a generic product if that's needed. So in this way, you can kind of summarize all of this data and not kind of feed your Xero with like all the details that you like in some cases you just simply don't need. But still, like, you'll have all the like per transaction entries here, just because so kind of this is the way, at least for now, we kind of see the way bookkeeping can be like a beneficial tool in terms of like more detailed reporting. And so other than this kind of it's doing the per transaction thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Polly. And I know that I know it's a really horrible question for us to ask, but we always ask, when does it not work? But that does actually save us as consultants a lot of time. And you did mention it's not ideal for a situation where there's only a small number of transactions. When I'm dealing with e-commerce clients, and yes, they may have a small number of transactions, I do kind of ask that question. Is there growth? Do we plan to have growth? Are you the type of solution that could potentially go viral or feature in a magazine and suddenly have a sort of 1,000% growth overnight? And if they are, then I would encourage them to spend the money up front and get those solutions in place, because sometimes they're selling 30 items and it takes them all day to process it because they're coming in from everywhere. And I'm like, if you want to be a high volume business or grow more, then we need to get these processes in place that if you did feature. So I would suggest that question needs to be asked, and then adopt a solution like this. And the other thing, which you haven't mentioned, which I think is quite cutesy, was that Synder is named after Cinderella. Cinderella tidying up all the reconciliation. So I always remember it that way. So we have had another question. I think that's because Emma came on a bit later. What is considered a small number of transactions? And I think you mentioned it was kind of like 30 transactions a day. Was that right, Polly?
A month. So if it's 30 transactions a day, for sure, Synder, like it's your friend. But if like you have like 10 transactions a month or like 30 transactions a month, then if you're expecting growth, like as you mentioned, for sure, if you're expecting like this, like overnight growth, sure, it's better to handle and make sure everything is set up and prepared for this, so that once this happens, you're not kind of flooded in all this kind of bookkeeping questions. But if like like it's a business that just like low transactional. So you have your money, you'll have your business. It's like stable, but it's like just low transactional business. So if there is you see the point for the automation here as well. You feel like, okay, I have funds for this, I can like allow this, and for sure it's like for sure then Synder is perfect for this as well. But at least for what we hear from our clients, that it's really has much more value for the businesses with voluminous amount of transactions. So it's like it can be used for any kind of business, but like ideally I would see Synder as a solution that solves this kind of voluminous businesses problems.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for answering that, Polly. Now, while I ask if anyone has any more questions, how can people get in contact with you, Polly?
Great question. And we can actually jump to the last slide of mine then. Yeah, so in contact with me for sure, like there is my email, and for sure, Heather, you can like share it so that I personally can handle any other follow-up questions. But also for those of you who are interested in learning more about Synder specifically and see actually the live demo, so not just this nice pictures that are just like staying there and you're not actually getting an idea of how to set this whole thing up. So there will be like a live demo at 4 p.m. like Australian time, so 3rd of June, and yeah, you're welcome to join this webinar. And also there is like this promo code Synder5 you can see on the screen, so you can any of you can use this promo code like within the next 72 hours. And just like get the trial increased 5 times so that you can kind of test it out and see how Synder can help you with like any tasks you feel your business has or your clients might have. So yeah, you're welcome.
What is the current free trial period?
The trial is unlimited in time. It's limited only with the amount of the synchronization you might do.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So this Synder5 will kind of extend this number.
Excellent. Excellent. Oh, well, thank you so much, Polly. Does anyone have any more questions? I'm just checking the list there. Any other questions to jump on? No, but thank you so much, Polly, for
super.
Yep.
Yeah, super small follow-up. Just a thought that came to mind that, yeah, if this time is not suitable for any of you, on our website, there are like more times so you can sign up for a demo. We have them weekly. So yeah, just in case this time is not working, you can for sure find another time that will be more suitable. So sorry, Heather. So
no, that's perfectly fine. Now, if while I'm saying thank you to everyone, Polly, maybe you can pop the link to the webinar in the chat area so everyone can access it. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today on the Lunch and Learn. And thank you very much, Polly. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing what Synder can do and how we can use to help our clients.